Hi, and welcome to today's show, where I'll be sharing a few summaries that really arose from Google's recent presentation. Every year they do something called Google I/O, which is their annual presentation about the latest developments that are emerging from within Google in terms of innovation. And this year the focus was on generative AI. So on Wednesday, they did this live stream, and I went to a satellite event with other about 100 and maybe 200 to 300 other technologists who were equally interested in finding out what are the next steps with regards to Google. Before I dive into any of that, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Bybreen and I help baby boomers reinvent themselves psychologically, practically, and technically so they can thrive in their third act of life. If you are one of my regulars, welcome back. Great to see you. Now, this innovation that took place last week is really useful if you are somebody who is interested in developing your digital skills. So we all are familiar with Google. First launched on September the 4th, 1998, with its mission of bringing the world's data into one place, one portal, i.e. the internet, and enabling all of us to have easy access to it. So that was Web 1.0, its search functionality. Here we are in Web 3. It's the same mission, but what they've done is they've really want to enhance this kind of responsible aspect to it, making sure that all of the information is organized, it's accessible, and it is useful to us as end users. So in terms of their innovations, they have launched two large language models, and the first one is Bard AI, and the second one is Palm 2. So Bard AI, I want you to think about it in terms of it's very similar to ChatGPT. It just happens to be the Google version of it. Now, this language model is populated, it was built upon text and code and images. And the way that you relate to it is you have an idea for something. So therefore, you're going to engage with it as your assistant through prompts. Now, I did a video a few weeks ago around prompt engineering. So if you want to find out more about that, you can dive into that video. But in essence, it's about your interaction with this piece of technology that enables you to act more effectively and more efficiently. So, for example, let's say that you're planning a long trip, 3, 6 months, and you've always had this idea that you wanted to travel the world and to go and do cooking classes around vegan food around the world. So what you could use Bard to do is to come up with your own travel itinerary, whereby you would say, Bard, you're treating Bard as this travel expert, as a travel expert in the field of vegan cooking and cooking schools. I'd love you to put together a travel itinerary of the top 10, top 20 vegan cooking schools around the world. And so what Bard would do is then populate a document for you whereby it would list the top 20, it would rank them for you, it would give you a sense of the cost and the location and where you could stay, for example. So here, what it's doing, it's saving you time. Now, the beauty of all of this is that Bard is connected to the suite of Google's portfolio of apps. And so they have about 20 odd, we're familiar with them in terms of email, the calendar, um, Google Slides, and oh, my mind's just gone blank for it. Google Slides as well as Sheets. And so what happens is, let's say, for example, that you did this cooking trip and you came back, but actually you were really dissatisfied with one of the cooking schools. So what you could do is literally begin to type the email looking for a refund. But instead of typing out the whole email, what you would do is that with Bard's assistance, because Bard is integrated within all of these apps, you would just type the first few words, I'm looking for a refund from this particular school. And then what Bard would do, it would then populate the email and write it for you. And so here we're seeing that the time it will take you to do something, but also personalizing it in a way is the way that Bard will be very effective, because of what it does, it combs through every single email that was exchanged with regards to the planning of the trip. It will go through every single document and literally just pull together. The beauty of these large language models is that they synthesize data, they synthesize information and pull it together. Another thing that Bard can do is that if you're really into photography, let's say that you've gone on this trip and you've taken photographs, it could be of the fantastic food that you've made, or it could be about the general scenery, it could include yourself or other people. But let's say some of the images only show part of the person or part of what it is that you wanted to take a photo of. So within Bard AI, what they have is something called Magic Editor. And what this does, it literally cleans up the photograph, but also allows you to reposition the image that you wanted to take. So it's fantastic. So let's say a photograph, I was taking a photograph of me here, but it only got this side of me in, but sort of cut my arm off. If I put that photo into Bard AI, what it would do, it would reposition me to show the whole of me in the frame and then populate the actual environment. So it's phenomenal for that. Let's stick with this travel and this trip, and you're going around the world, and this time you're going to use Google Maps. Now, with Google Maps, what Bard does, it allows you to have an immersive experience even before you go. So there are these 20 cooking schools around the world. And so with the map, Google Maps, what you can do is start to review the area and really see it in detail as if you're literally walking through the environment that you're going to be in, or in terms of where you're going to stay. So what Bard, from the consumer point of view, really allows us to personalize our experiences in a way that's going to be really useful. Now, Bard isn't just for the everyday layman and woman, but also focuses on developers and engineers. And so Bard also is populated with at least about 20 engineering or developer um, themes and subjects and coding areas. So, for example, from HTML to CSS to JavaScript to C++ to Kotlin, you name it, it's just populated with a whole variety of coding languages. And so here, Bard acts as an assistant to a developer. And it could be, could you explain this line of code? Or, there's an issue here that I can't pass the code. Could you debug it? So we're seeing how Bard AI helps you to build these digital skills, one, as a layperson, because you're using the suite of Google Apps. And if you really want to develop that, there's this fantastic book that I have here, as you can see, clearly stated, Google Apps. And it's quite a short read, but it gives you a great kind of context of all of the different apps and how you can access them. So let's say that you wanted to develop as a virtual assistant that really just specialize in Google Apps. And now that you're aware of Bard AI, you could actually build your micro startup, which is going to support organizations, be them large or small, or startups or coaches or consultants. So understanding the kind of context of Google Apps, but you're already familiar with the Google Apps, because if you're a Google user, there's email, etc. on there. Now, with regards to Bard is good for the kind of general purpose information, as I've just kind of explained and outlined. Now, with Palm 2, Palm 2 is the larger of the two language models. And Palm 2, again, is populated with text, and it's populated with photos, and it's populated with code. But Palm 2 really does come into its own when it is focused on training within a domain that is really specific. So if you're a lawyer, for example, or within the legal world, using Palm, you could use it because what you want is accurate information. So let's say that you're looking at the most recent precedents around a particular area of law and you wanted to compare and contrast a whole range of cases, then using Palm 2 would be a really great way to do that. Or alternatively, if you're in the field of cybersecurity, because cybersecurity is a specific domain, you could train the data using Palm 2. The same would apply within the medical field. So these two large language models are available, particularly Bard AI, which has just been released. So the wait list has been removed and it's now available in 180 countries. And beyond English, you could use it in terms of the language of Japanese and Korean. And then by the end of the year, it will be translated into another 40 languages. So that's fantastic. Now, with regards to Palm 2, as I said, you really want to utilize all of its facilities if you want to drill down in terms of a particular domain. Now, there's something called Google Workspace, which we've all been familiar with, and within that it lies all of these apps. And Google Workspace really is about our ability to collaborate with each other, whether we do that in our personal lives or within the world of work. And the collaboration happens in real time. So let's say, for example, you're at work and you're working on some branding, and the branding could be about, well, who is the hero within the organization? So the hero could be, from a branding point of view, it could be you, the leader of the organization, it could be the organization per se, or it could be some of the clients. And so you're zoning in on who is the hero. And let's say that you wanted to build a brand story, then you would go in. Bard AI again is great for this. And you would start to populate it with some information that, is part and parcel of the organization. And so let's say that you put in a short paragraph, and then what Bard does, it starts to comb through. It has this facility called Sidekick, where it starts to comb through what you've put in and then populates the rest of the story, taking in that contextual information, and then it will add prompts. So it's kind of twofold. On the one hand, you are prompting Bard AI to come up with answers. And then when you populate it with a bit of data, it then prompts and then populates it from a contextual point of view. So it's phenomenal in terms of facilitating how information is used in a more effective way. Now, there's responsible AI, and that's very much part and parcel of what Google is offering. And the responsible AI comes in because AI is generative AI, and we know that there's lots of images that's populating the internet. And it's synthesized images and information. So therefore, can we tell the difference between the original and then the replicated? And so with responsible AI, the whole idea is that it's now creating this facility where you can add metadata. So it gives you contextual information to show, well, this is a synthesized image or this is a real image that you found on the net. And then conversely, if you are a content creator, what you can do is to start populating the images and the information that you put out with metadata. And so therefore, it's an invitation for all of us to participate in this responsible AI, the way that we use it. And it's to be done responsibly. Now, all of this, as I've just outlined, really does point to us as individuals and then organizations. Then to enhance the journey of organizations, there's Google Cloud. And within Google Cloud, they have a facility called Vertex AI. Here, if you're interested as an organization, be you a nonprofit, a startup, or a small business, or even a large enterprise, if you're looking to build generative applications, then under Vertex, what they have standard models. And so if you wanted to create an application that has a chat function, a chat feature, text or images, you can literally pull it off the shelf and start to work with the models. Now, the beauty of Vertex is that it combs through all of the organization's documents. So it combs through your intranet, it combs through all of your Google Docs, everything that you hold as data, it combs through. And so therefore, when you're building your app, it really is synthesized with what the organization does and what it is that you want this application to do, which is brilliant. Then you have something called Duet AI for Google Cloud. Now, this feature is really specific for developers, very similar to Bard AI. And what it does, it enables developers to have this AI assistant that is guiding the developer through code. It's like, well, could you help me code this particular part of an application? Now, whether you're going under Duet AI or whether it's Vertex, both are really built on a strong AI infrastructure. And what this essentially means is that it combs through and trains data in about 80% of the time and for half the price. So, you're kind of killing two birds with one stone. So, these are some of the developments that are taking place from an innovation AI driven perspective. And if you're looking to build your digital skills completely from scratch, the first thing I would suggest is dive in and get to grips with Google Apps. Because for Bard AI, for example, it's as I said, connected to all of them. And with Bard, it's not only about facilitating the Google environment, it is also in partnerships with a whole range of organizations like Khan Academy and like Spotify and Kayak and a whole range of partnerships, which means that Bard AI then powers these other applications, which then generates even more efficiency. So that's where I would suggest you start in terms of familiarizing yourself with your digital transformation journey. And then if you're a little bit more seasoned or you're somebody who's already along the world or in the world of engineering or development or coding, then you can use these phenomenal AI tools to act as your AI assistant. So that's what I wanted to share with you, that kind of outline in terms of what it is that Google is offering all of us. And they're starting to roll them out. As I said, Bard is now available, so the waitlist has been removed. And all of the others will be rolled out throughout this year. So keep your eyes open. Start using Bard AI in terms of, generating those prompts, generating those ideas, and upskilling yourself in a way that's quite comfortable, because the fact that these large language models are tuned in, particularly around the Google suite of apps. So that's what I wanted to share with you, these developments that Google have announced this past week. And yeah, let me know if you're using any of them, if you're already familiar with them. I would love to hear what you have to say. Put your comments in the comment box below, and please like and share this episode and subscribe to my channel. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. Take care. Bye bye.